Welcome to my project, Spread Positivity. My name is Megan, and today I'm here with Miss Motsay, and I will be discussing mental health. Thank you so much for meeting with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Jeanine Motsay. I am a licensed mental health care counselor associate, and I have a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling. I also work on projects that are near and dear to my heart that are around substance use disorder and mental health advocacy. I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the work that you do. My first question for you is how would you define the term mental health disorder? In addition, how would you define the term mindfulness?
Mental health disorder, that is where someone, I believe, is coping with something that is impacting their daily living and how they're able to function in their personal life, their professional life, school life, whatever their um, outreaches and environments are, they're having difficulty functioning daily with their environment that they're living in, whether that's due to depression, anxiety, another mental health symptom. As far as mindfulness, mindfulness is when we bring into our daily living awareness of how we're feeling, what we're experiencing in life. It's more along the lines of recognizing that this is a difficult moment and not just pushing it to the side and saying everything is okay. So it's awareness is another way that I like to think about it. I also think with mindfulness that we're also thinking about how we can be mindful to be kind and to care for ourselves so that we have self-care that is a way that can help us to feel the best that we possibly can, especially if we're feeling like we have a mental health disorder.
What are some good self care things to do if you're feeling down or feeling bad mental health effects?
Well, I think self-care is something that's individual to somebody. So I couldn't say, "Oh, go for a bike ride, go for a walk," because if you're not that kind of an active person, that might not be something that you find fun and enjoyable. And that's really what self-care should be. It should be something that you enjoy doing that lets you get away from something that maybe you don't want to be doing, maybe a project that is having a deadline or an assignment that has to be done, but it's something that you do on a regular basis to help take care of you. Another way I'd like to think about it is, maybe for somebody else it's a massage, or for somebody else it's getting their makeup done or their nails done or something along those lines. But it's regularly something that you do that helps you to relax, be mindful, and care for yourself.
Thank you so much. My next question is what is the difference between depression and anxiety, and why could it be useful to understand the difference between these two?
Depression and anxiety are two separate um, mental health concerns. However, sometimes the symptoms can overlap. An example is that someone with depression might have an irritable mood, someone with anxiety might have an irritable mood. Somebody with depression might have difficulty concentrating or making a decision. Somebody with anxiety might have a symptom of difficulty concentrating and their mind going blank. So there is some similarity in symptoms, but typically depression will be something that will have a feeling. Maybe it's a feeling of low self-worth, feeling of hopelessness. It could be fear of dying. It could be, like I said, irritable mood. It could be a depressed mood. Your sleep or your appetite could be different. With anxiety, you might have more physical symptoms, like when you're feeling anxious, you might have a racing heart, or you might feel that you're perspiring or trembling or having some sort of a physical response to the feeling of being anxious. So basically, being anxious is a feeling of maybe dread about something that's happening that's involving worry and fearfulness. Depression is typically something that is around feeling sad or not motivated, not enjoying things that you used to enjoy, pleasure activities. So they are different.
My next question is how or what kinds of things shouldn't a person say to someone going through mental health struggles, and what are some things that could be said?
Well, I think I want to start with the things that could be said. And certainly, when anyone is feeling that they're going through a difficult time, we all want to experience empathy and kindness and consideration. We want to be heard. We want to be listened to. We want to feel like we could be understood or that somebody could help us through something that we're not quite sure what we should be doing. So, we want somebody that we can talk to. Um, what you don't wanna do is just kind of say, "Oh, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Wait until tomorrow, you'll feel better then." So you don't wanna discount what somebody is feeling if they have a mental health concern, because if they're bringing it up, it's because they want to do something about it. So the best way to do that is to support them and not to discount, put down, or, minimize what it is that they're feeling.
Also, how do you know if you or someone you know is going through mental health struggles?
Well, hopefully somebody that you're close to as a friend, for example, will tell you, but you might notice that they're tired, sluggish. You might look at their face and they just don't look happy. They look sad, or they look like they're distracted or not really present in the moment. They're not expressing joy, or if they are, is it genuine, or are they just trying to do the best they can and put that out there? So I would say tired, lack of energy, maybe irritable, not themselves if they've known them to be different. Um, and maybe even talking to you about how they feel down about something.
These next few questions are kind of more related to the pandemic and mental health there. Um, First, before we get into that, how have mental health concerns changed over the years, and what have we done as a society to promote a healthy mental state?
I think there are more focuses on behavioral health, which are the behaviors you have for healthy living. I also think that in more recent years, there's been the focus on healthy choices as far as lifestyle, exercise. Um, Also, I would say eating habits may come into some healthier lifestyles. I think awareness, too, is another thing on the mental health side, as well as substance use. So, education and awareness about what is, what you just asked, a mental health disorder. What's a mental health symptom that I should be concerned about? Where do I go when I don't feel like I'm quite myself? How do I get help? Who can I talk to? So really education. And in a lot of ways, as we think about substance use, it's also related to the stigma that may be related to that, seeing that as somebody who has a substance use disorder or even a mental health disorder is, that's their choice. Well, perhaps more importantly, it's a condition or an illness that they're working through, and how can we empathize and help them?
Hmm. I was just wondering, with the COVID-19 pandemic, how has it brought new mental health concerns for people?
I work with patients counseling in mental health areas with symptoms like depression and anxiety. And I think that the longer the pandemic has gone on, the more people are reaching out for therapy options or other support that they can have, because as the pandemic has gone on, there's been this isolation from what we used to do activity wise. We've gone through the winter time where we've been indoors and withdrawn maybe from people, even due to the pandemic, not going out as much as we used to. So I think that those activities or restrictions to things that we enjoy have added to mental health concerns, especially depression and anxiety.
And what are some things within that we can do in the COVID-19 pandemic to promote positive mental health in such kind of um, depressing time in history?
That's very interesting. What can we do in a depressing time of history? And it is history making that's happening. So it's all new. So I think sharing is one way that we can experience more positivity. Not, again, not acting like it's not happening, but saying, hey, I'm tired of being indoors. I want to spend some time with someone, whether that's virtually, like Zoom, or another platform, whether that's talking to somebody on the phone that maybe you don't normally talk to on the phone. So finding new ways to connect with individuals that can increase your connection with others.
And another question I have, I finished my list, but I just wanted to know if you could say something to anyone going through mental health struggles, what would you say?
I would say that I'm sorry that they're experiencing that, and I would really want them to reach out to someone that they consider part of their support system. And everybody should feel like they have a support system, a close friend, relative, so that they don't feel alone. So I would say lean on your support system as much as you can. If you don't have what you would like as a support system, think about how you could have more support the way that you would want. And of course, there's always professionals that you can reach out to. There are various hotlines for suicide, for mental health concerns. Indiana has 211 that can help with a myriad of resources for someone who is going through something difficult. So I would say reach out, use your support system, and don't feel that you're alone.
How would you advise someone to reach out if they're having trouble reaching out to friends and family or don't feel comfortable doing so?
Can you be a little more specific?
Say someone um, has mental health concerns and yet feels afraid to reach out and feels afraid of judgment.
Oh, so will I be judged if I tell somebody that I'm not feeling so well or that I'm feeling anxious and keyed up? I guess I would say in that point that it takes strength. You do need to be strong to reach out to get some help. Think about what you're afraid of and ask yourself, is that really something that I should be afraid of? Should I be afraid of asking my friend for some help, a friend that I've known for a long time and has been there and I've known for some time, and maybe I helped them through something. So don't be afraid to uh, reach out. Don't think that you're being weak or unable to do that. I also say too, if you'd rather reach out to somebody that you don't know, that there are national hotlines that you can call, and there is somebody on the other end that is there waiting for that call, and that's exactly what they're there for, is to help you through what you're calling for.
Hmm. Would you say that, like, in more recent years, people have been working to kind of end the stigma around mental health?
Yes, most definitely. And I think that it is more seen as it is an illness. There are ways that it can be managed in anyone's life. And so I think there's also hope, that it doesn't have life doesn't have to be in a place where you don't want to be mentally. It can be worked through. You can have resources, and there are people that are wanting to help you.
My final thing, I just wanted to know if you do you think that there's anything important to add, or if there's something that you would like to say about mental health, like feel free to do so. I finished my questions, but um, if you have any advice, any suggestions, feel free to say.
Well, I'd like to think that beyond the pandemic, we now have knowledge that we didn't have before the pandemic about how to work through difficult times that may be related to your mental health or substance use. So I hope that there's been more awareness, there's more opportunity that as the pandemic ends and we get back to some sort of normalcy, that it's also normal to reach out when you're not feeling like you're yourself and you're feeling depressed or anxious, or maybe you have some other mental health concern or substance use, that it's okay to reach out and it's okay to say, I'm not feeling well, because we've made it through the pandemic. And I hope we've learned that making it through that means that we can make it through whatever comes next.
Thank you so much. One last thing. I mean, I know that people think of COVID as kind of a negative, but you're saying that like um, mental health concerns, if anything, the pandemic's taught us. Do you think that the pandemic has been, in a sense, a bit of a positive thing for mental health, or
I hope to not think that it's been positive, that we've been out of our sorts of how we normally operate and do our daily living. I don't want to say that it's a positive, but I think that it has brought more attention to how important our mental health is, for sure.
well, thank you so much for meeting with me. I know that my audience will enjoy what you've had to say, and I know that it's very important.
Well, thank you for all you're doing, Megan, because I think your positivity will be contagious.
Thank you.